For people who don't know your story, when they first hear this story, they go, what?
Yeah.
What happened? Captured by the Taliban, all of a sudden makes a promise to them on her way out that she'd read the Quran, and next thing you know, a convert.
Listen to this. Even your enemies have rights. Anybody that's captured in a war, there are rights that are ascribed to those people. They have rights. Even though they're enemies, even though you've captured them, you still have to give them their rights. So, as a prisoner of war, he has the right to be fed and clothed. He has the right that you're going to care for him in the same way you would care for anybody and give them what they need, medicine, medical attention, and so on.
I see my physicians.
Alaikum salam.
Even in the war itself, the enemy who's fighting against you, he still has rights, even while he's fighting against you. How? Well, let me give you an idea. The Quran is clear about this subject, that you must never fight anybody unless they're fighting you. So if there is a war going on, and they're fighting and killing you, then you fight them, but look at this, immediately it says, but if they stop, you have to stop them. That's what? Rights. They have rights.
The Prophet has seen you. You're not to rope or drag the prisoners. In the process, cut them loose. I said cut them loose. And give them water. And share your food. Equal mouthfuls. And if they walk beside them. Any prisoner who can teach 10 Muslims to read will go free.
And I handed him the paper back, and he said, we are about to eat and you can join us. And I said, well, really, first I need to use the telephone. I need to make a call. And he said, impossible. And I said, well, if you won't give me the telephone, I'm not going to eat, either as a prisoner or as a guest of the Taliban. I need to make a call. And he said, impossible. So I said, well, I'm not eating. And he just shrugged his shoulders. And I was taken into a room which was to become my cell for the next 6 days. Now you'd think that the most evil, brutal regime in the world couldn't care less if I'd gone on hunger strike. But they were really upset. Every morning, noon and night they would come in and they would lay out a cloth. And they would bring in the most delicious smelling flat bread and a little bowl of rice and depending on what time of day it was, a little bit of stew if I was lucky there might be 3 or 4 pieces of meat there. And they would have a jug of water and a bowl and they would wash my hands and they would say, you are our guest, you are our sister. And I'm thinking, I'm not falling for this. You know, these are evil, brutal men and they hate women. I'm not going to be nice to these guys. And so I said, take the food away. And each time we went through the same charade, and each time I would say, telephone, they would say no, and I'd say, take the food away. So it doesn't matter if I'm nice or nasty to them, they're going to execute me. After all, they're part of this evil, brutal regime. So I decided that I would be the prisoner from hell. So I'd gone on hunger strike. I swore at them, I cursed them, I spat at them, I threw things at them. In fact, every prejudice that they would have held about Western women would probably reinforce tenfold by my behaviour. And they responded by telling me, you were our guest, you were our sister. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with these people? What don't they understand about being a brutal regime? I really thought that if I cut them any slack, if I was nice to them, that's when the electrodes would come out. That's when the abuse would really start. So on the grounds that you don't kiss the hand that slaps you, I became the prisoner from hell. On the 6th see me. And he said to me, he came in and his face was almost black with fear, and he could barely talk, his mouth was so dry, and he said to me, you have an important visitor. He is very, very important, and you must be respectful. And I said, well, who is it? And I think, is it Omar? Son of bin Laden? He's going, please, you must be respectful. And he went away. He came back a few minutes later and knocked on the door. Although I was the prisoner, I had my own key. And I told you they didn't understand this evil